Well, folks, it's Saturday, and rather than taking the day off, I kind of feel like staying in touch. It's the 7th of January, 2023. Cheers. Part of what kind of prompted me to get on here and talk a little bit is that I need a new washer, and so I vacillate between doing laundry at home by hand and going to a laundromat. I plan to get a washer soon. Dryer still works fine, but while I was out at the laundromat, I was just really struck by how the other people in the laundromat really were really focused on reaching out and being friendly to one another, and me as like and other folks, and it really felt good, and it reminded me of what I already know, which is most people are decent. Most average people are decent. The problem is with the programming that is being pushed down our throats by the people who own things, have power, the rich, and like this mess with government, where they finally got McCarthy in, but it's just all this manipulation and machinations, and none of it is about doing the job or providing service for American people. And it just occurred, and I just thought to myself, well, I'll just get on here and just share that, I'm aware that the great majority of us are decent, and we want life to be good, and we want to get along. And so let's be conscious agents of that. I was really, really happy that this old guy, never seen him before, just started up a conversation with me. How was your new year? It was really wonderful, Next thing you know, this lady around the corner, not related to them at all, as she comes around to load up a dryer, she joins the conversation. It really felt awesome. And so we are the solution, but it needs to be conscious. So I don't mind talking like this, I don't mind, and I hope obviously you all don't mind either. As the Beatles said, we need to come together right now. Okay, some music. Well, as you know, I bought the Genesis yesterday and played it all the way through. This is a good pressing. They did a good job. Unlike the recent yellow vinyl Trick of the Tail, I may have gotten a bad copy, but I've heard from others that they got bogus copies too. This is a clean cut. Sounds wonderful. It sounds remastered. I can hear it. I was just listening to the Battle of Epping Forest, and it says, whoa, that phasing on the bass is much more pronounced now. It's nice. It really comes through. But it led to some more Genesis listening. Genesis Live. This is a very powerful live album. And in early days, the band really wasn't completely together yet. They improved since this as far as playing, but the excitement, and it's a Black Label charisma, which you don't see too often, but the excitement is in the performance. It's a great. I love this band. Love this band, Genesis. Taking Tiger Mountain by Strategy, Eno. Second solo album, I think, 1973. There's a couple of tracks on here that are hard to listen to because they're almost like carnival music, And it's Eno loving to sing, although he's not a singer. So some of that singing can grate. But overall, this is fantastic. China My China, The True Wheel, Third Uncle. Good God Almighty. Okay? Those are some of the real standout tracks. I love that cover, too. Friday night was a night to chill out. There was a big jam session in town that people really wanted me to go. I didn't go. I knew I didn't want to go. I heard back from my that's the message I just got from my boy Blake, who did go, and he's sorry he went because of ego bullshit. Ego bullshit. You know, I'm not interested in people's little egos. So I stayed home and played music and pulled out some old favorites. Yellow Magic Orchestra's High Tech No Crime. This is a remix album that came out in the 90s. And it just sounds a little bit dated, but I just love this stuff so much that it don't even matter. I love it. And this has an extra 12-inch remix by the Orb in it. And that got played all the way through because it's just so good. So good. I want to say about these records I bought yesterday, like the Popol Vuh, this is very important. This is a very important element of my music collection for me. Music that is calming, spiritual, deep listening, something that helps take the mind to a place where it needs to go. Unlike some really popular music that just takes your mind into the bathroom or wanting to have sex, you know, those are parts of life, but it's like we're too focused on that as people in general in this world right now. So I find stuff like this very helpful to me to keep my mind and my life in balance. More Yellow Magic Orchestra sitting out that did not get played, but this got played. Etron Foulet Leblanc, a band, I believe. See, I get it. Is that French? I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, okay. Sax player. But this is a solo album of his, something to do with climates. I don't find not knowing the language a barrier to enjoying the overall picture that's being presented. And musically, this is very wonderful and interesting and doesn't sound like anybody else except maybe Etron Foulet Leblanc. Love stuff like this. Love it. Utopia from 1970. This is a kind of a jam. It's like, yeah, there's some jamming on here, but it's the members of Amandul with guest musicians. Apparently they re-released this many years later as an Amandul 2 album. They do Amandul stuff on here. This is really good, and it's a great psychedelic cover. I just love those covers. Amandul 2 in particular, they had this together. On another tip, lively music that's full of life, great playing, funky as all get out, and just really positive energy. Eddie Henderson, Heritage, from Wandishi, the Herbie Hancock Band. It's a badass album. It's very good. It's got, it's the range from funk and power to quiet and introspective. And he's got the cats on here. He's got Hadley Callman, Julian Priester, M. Tume is on here, Mike Clark, Patrice Rushen on keyboards. Billy Hart also plays on one track. Excellent album. Eddie Henderson, Heritage. Interesting how all these blue notes have gone up in value as collector's items. Here's one that I bought last year or the year before, cheap and used at Grapefruit. Didn't know anything about it. This is excellent. Charlatan, Isolatarium. This is electronic. Fantastic. How did I describe this last night? Swirling. Nice yellow. No vocals. Wow. This is the wonderful thing about music and creativity is that it's not all the big names at all who are making the best music. That's why it's so much fun to find stuff. This is incredibly good. 2012, and yet she's wearing a mask. Interesting, huh? Isolatarium. This is real good. Really enjoyed that last night. And then I want to shout out to Chris Cole. If you happen to see this, Chris, you know, Happy New Year. This is something that you gave to me years ago. Larry Chernicoff, Gallery of Air. Listened to this last night and it's like, wow, this is really something unique. It's got elements of free jazz blowing on the horns, the Philip Glass Steve Wright type of thing with the minimalist, repetitive sort of beds of sound on some of the pieces. This is amazing. And then I looked it up. Chris, thank you so much. You can't get this album for less than $300 now. Wow. It's really good. It's real good. It's been reissued, and even the reissues are kind of getting up there pricey. So, yeah, I have to kind of, you know, dig through my own collection at times to remember what I have and listen to things that I forget, you know, sometimes with the idea that I'm going to trade stuff in. This is one that was possibly going to be going, but no, this is really good. It's a 12-inch single by Chicks on Speed, doing Wordy Rappinghood by Tom Tom Club. They have Miss Kitten on here, and Tina Weymouth herself is on here, which is why this is so good. The bass and the rhythm track for this is dynamite. It bumps. Wordy Rappinghood. I always liked that song, but this is a real good version of it. Really funky. As well as the Chicks on Speed doing their thing with the vocal part. You know, having some fun with it. So that was a nice rediscovery in my own collection. Syd Barrett's birthday was either yesterday or the day before. Played some Syd Barrett. Opel. Got into a discussion online about how Soft Machine are on one track here. And just this is interesting, but also a little hard to hear because you can hear the disintegration happening to the man's mind. What else we got? So I listened to all those records I bought yesterday. I'm pleased with every one of them. Is there a standout? Well, the Popol Vuh, but also this. The Steve Roach, Kevin Braheny, Richard Burmer, Western Spaces. Fantastic. Highly recommended. Hey, Gorbo. Carm, I know you like that stuff. Shout out to other folks. Bruce, hello. Yellow. Let me look here right quick. I appreciate you folks. I do appreciate you folks. Excuse me. And the folks who comment regularly with positive energy. Yes, like let me just get to L.E., of course, J-Bone Bacon, Jimster, who is it? Always Trish, John Walker. Hello, John. Nice to hear from you. PJR, Phil, Bell, you are a regular. I really appreciate you folks. There's Gorbo. Walter Penn, Real Dan Alexander. Just looking through some of the comments on the most recent video, and I just want to say thank you for being part of my extended family, world peacemakers. I'd like to say that we're peacemakers, not selfish, greedy politician, whatever. Those people are horrible. This is fantastic. Zantic le Jazzman by Jean-Luc Chevalier. French jazz on the Musea label. It's that really melodic, almost proggy. It's very proggy. Oh, it's really good. Really good. Really good. People, thank goodness for music, friendship, and love. Thank goodness for family. Thank goodness for good people. I really think we've got to try and continue to make conscious efforts to be aware and to make people around us more aware that each of us has a stake in trying to improve the general tone of the world. It's up to us. It's not somebody else that's going to come in and fix it. It's us. So especially we people down here on the ground that ain't got nothing, ain't got no money, no power. We need to look out for each other and really wake up to the strength that we have in unity instead of foolishly bickering and fighting on behalf of people who are stomping on our necks in the first place. You know, people are wage slaves, and we have these foolish, poor people supporting people who are denigrating them and taking advantage of them and stealing from them. And that these people are so uninformed and unaware that they are fighting and supporting these people. You know who I'm talking about. So I'm going to continue this. We need to be moving forward on a road to healing. Bickering and division is not going to do it, is it? Is it? Have a good weekend.